All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are taking a deep dive into Absci Corporation.
Absci Corporation.
Yeah, they're really making a name for themselves in biotech
Yeah.
by kind of like fusing AI and synthetic biology
Right.
to discover new drugs much faster
Yeah.
at warp speed,
Right.
really.
That warp speed, yeah.
And from what I've been reading in these sources you gave me,
Yeah.
their claims are pretty bold: faster timelines, higher success rates,
Absolutely.
even tackling diseases that we haven't really been able to tackle before.
Right.
But can they really pull it off?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we're here to figure
That's
out.
what we're going to try and tease out
Exactly.
in our deep dive today.
So what is it about them that's so intriguing?
Well, I think what's really interesting and immediately intriguing is their integrated drug creation platform.
Okay.
And it's not just about using AI for design.
Right.
It's about how they weave that AI insight with real-world lab testing. And that's something that a lot of companies haven't really quite cracked yet.
Yeah.
If it works as advertised, this could really be a game changer.
So let's break down that business model.
Okay.
From what I understand, they're really focusing on biologics.
Yes.
And specifically antibodies.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, they're really leveraging the power of the human immune system, almost like crowdsourcing solutions from nature itself.
Interesting.
Think about it. If people successfully fight off a disease, they've already produced antibodies that work.
That makes sense.
And so what Absci does is they use something called reverse immunology,
Okay.
where their AI analyzes these successful antibodies to figure out what they target.
So it's not just throwing darts at a dartboard. It's actually like looking at what's worked.
Yeah, it's kind of like working backward from a solution to pinpoint the problem.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's a very clever approach.
It is a clever approach.
So it's not just random drug design. It's using AI to learn from the best defenses we already have.
Exactly. And this targeted approach could lead to more effective drugs with fewer side effects.
Right. Fewer side effects is always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
Now, where it gets really interesting, I think, is how they're not limiting themselves to just pharmaceuticals.
Right.
There was this partnership with AMD that really caught my eye.
Yeah.
What is a chip maker doing with a biotech company?
That's a great question. And it seems that Absci's platform isn't limited to just one type of molecule.
Oh, okay.
AMD is actually exploring using Absci's platform to develop new therapies for neurodegenerative diseases.
Interesting.
So that suggests that their technology has a much wider application.
Wow. So they're aiming to be like a platform powerhouse.
Yeah.
Not just a one-trick pony.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the technology. Now let's talk about the people.
Yeah.
A company is only as good as the people running it.
Absolutely, especially in an industry as complex as biopharma. You need a steady hand at the helm to navigate all of the choppy waters of research, development, and regulation.
From what I've read, Absci's CEO, Sean McClain, has a background in software engineering and data science.
Right.
That's not your typical biopharma CEO, is it?
Not at all. It's an unconventional choice.
Yeah.
But it does align with Absci's focus on AI and automation.
Makes sense.
And McLean's expertise, I think, could be a huge asset in driving that technological innovation forward.
But sounds like they also have people with experience in the field.
They haven't ignored the need for experience.
Okay.
Their chief scientific officer comes from a major pharmaceutical company.
Oh, wow.
So they are bringing that traditional biopharma know-how.
So they have like the best of both worlds.
It seems so, yeah.
A blend of fresh perspective and seasoned experience.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a winning combination, right?
It could be.
But how about their track record?
Yeah.
Have they actually delivered on any of their promises?
Well, they're a relatively young company, so their track record isn't as extensive as some of the industry giants.
Right.
But they have secured some pretty impressive partnerships already.
Yeah, like who?
AstraZeneca, Merck, even that AMD collaboration we just talked about.
Yeah, those are some big names.
These aren't small potatoes.
No, they're not.
So these partnerships definitely suggest that they're being taken seriously by some major players.
It seems like it, but partnerships don't always pay the bills.
That's true.
So let's talk about the financial health of ABSEC.
Of course.
At the end of the day, a company needs to be financially sound to survive.
Right.
Especially in a high-stakes industry like biotech.
Absolutely.
So what is the financial picture looking like for ABSEC?
Well,
Are they turning a profit?
not yet.
Oh.
They're still in the heavy investment phase,
Oh, cool.
pouring resources into R&D, which is pretty typical for a young biotech company aiming to disrupt the industry.
That makes sense.
They went public relatively recently,
Right.
and that has helped them attract investors and raise capital. But the question is, can they maintain that momentum?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance.
It is.
They need to keep the investors happy while also delivering on their ambitious goals.
They do.
And speaking of investors,
Yes.
after a quick break,
All right.
we'll dive into how the market is perceiving ABSI right now.
Okay.
Who's backing them
Sounds good.
and what potential risks they face.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
So don't go anywhere.
Yeah, stick around.
We got a lot more to uncover.
Much more to come.
We'll be right back after this.
We'll be right back.
See you. Okay, so we're back.
We're back.
And we're continuing this deep dive into Absci Corporation.
ABSI,
Yeah, we've talked about all their ambitious goals,
right?
all of their innovative tech, their financial picture.
Yep.
How is the market reacting to all of this stuff?
Well, market sentiment can be a real roller coaster,
Right.
especially in the world of biotech. Yep.
1 minute you're on top of the world with good news, and the next minute you're plummeting down with some setback in a clinical trial.
Exactly.
It's so volatile.
It is a volatile landscape.
So where does Absci fall on that roller coaster right now?
Yeah, are they up or are they down?
Yeah, are investors bullish? Are they bearish? Or somewhere in between?
It's kind of a mixed bag, to be honest.
Okay.
There's definitely a buzz around their potential.
Okay.
Some analysts are saying they're a disruptive force in the industry, pointing to their platform and their partnerships.
Right.
But others are a little bit more cautious,
Yeah.
emphasizing the inherent risks of developing drugs
Sure.
and the competition in biopharma.
It makes sense. They're still a young company.
Yeah,
And there's a lot that we don't know about them yet.
absolutely.
So who are the people that are betting on their success, though?
Yeah, let's talk about ownership.
Yeah, let's look at their ownership structure.
Yeah, so like a lot of public companies.
Well, they have a mix of institutional investors, like mutual funds, hedge funds,
Right.
and they also have individual investors.
Okay.
It is worth noting that some of their major shareholders have a history of investing in innovative biotech companies.
Oh, okay.
So that could be seen as a good sign.
Yeah, a vote of confidence.
A vote of confidence.
What about insider ownership?
Yeah.
Are the people that are actually running the company also invested?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Members of the management team and the board of directors have a significant ownership stake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is generally a positive sign.
Yeah, for sure.
It shows that the people steering the ship have skin in the game,
Right.
and they're aligned with the interests of the shareholders.
That's really reassuring to hear.
It is.
But obviously, even with a good team and enthusiastic investors, every investment comes with risks.
Of course.
So what are some of the potential pitfalls for Absci?
Well, we've talked about some of the general risks associated with biopharma.
Right, like competition.
Yeah, competition, regulatory hurdles.
It's a long and expensive drug development process.
Right.
But for Absci, there are some more specific risks to consider.
Okay, so what are those? What could really derail their success?
One concern I have is that their technology might not live up to all the hype.
Okay.
You know, AI is still pretty new in drug discovery.
Yeah, it's not a magic bullet.
It's not a guaranteed silver bullet.
Right.
There's a risk that their platform isn't as effective as they hope, or that they'll run into unexpected technical challenges.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. And even if the technology works flawlessly,
Right.
there's always a chance that a competitor will come up with something similar or better.
That's the nature of the beast, right?
Yeah, biopharma is constantly evolving, so they have to stay ahead of the curve to stay competitive.
It's a race with no finish line.
It is a race without a finish line.
Another potential risk is their reliance on AI.
Right.
What if their algorithms don't perform the way they're supposed to? Or if AI makes some huge leap and suddenly their tech is outdated?
That's a very valid concern.
AI is really powerful, but it's always evolving.
Yeah.
So Absci needs to be able to adapt and innovate to stay ahead.
That makes sense.
And they also have to be careful about the data they use.
Oh, yeah.
If the data is flawed or incomplete, it could really mess up their predictions.
And that could derail everything.
Yeah.
So we've got the technology risks, we've got the competition,
Yeah.
we've got the challenge of keeping up with AI.
Right.
But what about regulation? That could be such a minefield for biotech companies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Navigating the FDA approval process is very complex, and it can be unpredictable.
Yeah.
Any delays or setbacks in getting their drugs approved could really hurt their financials and their ability to bring products to market.
Okay, so it sounds like they're facing quite a few hurdles
They are.
to really understand where they stand. I think it'd be helpful to do a SWOT analysis.
Okay.
That'll help us figure out their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and their threats.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and it'll be in a more structured way.
Yeah, a SWOT analysis can really help us assess a company.
For sure.
So let's start with their strengths. What are Absci's main advantages?
Okay, so let's map out this SWOT analysis.
Right.
We've already talked about some of Absci's strengths.
We have.
But what really makes them stand out from the crowd?
Well, I think their biggest strength is definitely their integrated drug creation platform.
Okay.
Combining AI-driven design with rapid lab testing is, like you said earlier, taking the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
And that could lead to faster development times and a higher success rate.
Right, so it's not just the platform itself, it's how much faster and more efficient it could be.
Exactly.
What about those partnerships we talked about?
Oh, yeah, those are huge.
Those are some pretty big names.
Yeah, collaborations with companies like AstraZeneca and Merck give them access to so many resources,
Right.
expertise, and distribution channels that they wouldn't have on their own.
Yeah, they're not just starting from scratch.
Nope, they're not.
It's like they're getting a huge boost.
Yeah, it's like rocket fuel.
Okay, so strengths, innovative technology, powerful partnerships.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about weaknesses. No company's perfect.
True.
What are some of their weaknesses?
Well, their limited track record is definitely a weakness.
Okay.
They haven't actually brought a drug to market yet.
Right.
So we don't know for sure if their platform can really deliver in the long run.
It's like having a super fast car, but no one's ever actually seen it race.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
And their dependence on AI, while it's a strength, it's also a bit of a weakness.
Right.
What if AI changes drastically or their algorithms don't work the way they're supposed to?
Could have a major impact.
Yeah, so strengths, innovative technology, strong partnerships, weaknesses, limited track record dependence on AI. So let's look outside the company. What kind of opportunities are out there for them?
Well, the biggest opportunity is probably the biopharmaceutical market itself.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's enormous, and it's only growing. The demand for new and more effective treatments is just going to keep increasing.
And they're in a good position to capitalize on that.
Yeah, they're in the right place at the right time with the right tools.
Okay, so opportunity number one is the market itself.
What else? Well, they could also expand their platform into other areas beyond just traditional drugs.
Right, like that AMD partnership.
Exactly. That's a perfect example.
If they can apply their tech to other fields, that's a lot of growth potential.
A lot of potential.
That's really exciting. All right, so we've got the opportunities now. What about threats?
Right.
What could get in their way?
Well, we've talked about the competition in biopharma.
Yeah.
It's fierce.
It is.
Absci is up against some really big companies with a lot of experience.
Right.
They'll need to be very innovative to stay ahead.
And always be looking for what's coming next.
Yeah, it's like a race with no finish line.
Definitely. And then there's the whole regulatory landscape.
Oh, right, the FDA.
Yeah, the FDA approval process can be a real headache.
It's long and it's complicated.
For sure.
Any delays or setbacks could really hurt them.
Okay, so it sounds like a lot of potential rewards, but a lot of risks as well.
It is.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
Their business model, the management team, their financials, market sentiment. We did a SWOT analysis.
The whole 9 yards.
So what's your overall take on Absci? Is this a company worth keeping an eye on?
I think so. They're a really interesting example of how AI and synthetic biology are changing drug discovery.
Yeah.
Their platform is really innovative. They've got those strong partnerships, and they're in a market that's just going to keep growing.
Yeah.
But they do face some challenges, that limited track record, their reliance on AI, the competition, the regulation. It's all there.
So a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, a mixed bag.
But definitely a company worth watching.
I would say so.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to share your expertise with us.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
And for everyone listening, remember all the information we discussed today is from the sources that expert speaker provided.
Yes.
And you can find links to all of those sources in the description below.
Definitely check them out.
If you have any other companies that you'd like us to do a deep dive on,
Yeah, we're always looking for new ideas.
let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And don't forget to subscribe to the Stock Analytics AI YouTube channel for more deep dives like this one.
Absolutely.
We're always exploring the latest in technology and business.
It's a fascinating world out there.
And we would love for you to join us on that journey.
We'll see you next time.
And one last thing, this deep dive was for informational purposes only and not financial advice.
Right. This is not financial advice.
All investments involve risk. So please consult a financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Always do your own research.
All right. Thanks again for joining us on the deep dive. We'll see you next time.